Palm reading of a young person whose age is 15 years old. We are reading his hand. He is a male. So we would be reading not just the right hand but the left hand as well. It is normally said that we should take a look at the right hand, but both hands are important. So that's the reason why I normally refer both the hands. Now the thing is that if we take a look, I would just mark few important lines on his palm. The first thing is that the headline, this is the headline. It is kind of appearing to start out here. This is the area of Mars negative area. The encircled area is the area of Mars negative. Mars negative is the area of anger, aggression, and fire. Normally the headline starts something like at the edge of the palm, somewhere out here. It starts something like this, but that is considered to be normal. But when it kind of originates on the mount of Mars negative, it kind of brings in anger and aggression in the mind. So the person is very angry. So this is one of the aspects to see in his hand. Now when the person is angry, the person um, can make wrong decisions sometimes, not every time, but sometimes a person can make wrong decisions if there are few negative signs on if there are few other negative signs on the palm. Now the good part is that there are few lines that are kind of originating on the mount of Jupiter. This is the area of mount of Jupiter. The first finger is the pointing finger. This is the finger of authority, administration, religion, politics, and honor. And having a line originate on the mount of Jupiter is considered to be a good sign. And what it basically means is ambition, growth oriented, person wants respect and honor in their life. So those are the things. If the person aspires, the chances for success increases. So this is considered to be a good sign. Not many people have it, and whoever has it, and if those people have a very solid kind of a line, that is considered to be better compared to a weaker kind of a line. So these are kind of medium kind of lines. These are kind of good lines. A rare indication that we see out here is that you would notice that there's a loop-like formations, a skin pattern. We are not talking about the lines. And this loop-like formation is normally seen between the fourth and the third finger, this area, and between the third, this is the third, and the second finger. This is the finger of Sun and the finger of Saturn. So these are very common kind of loops that a person may have. So I won't be describing out here. The only thing I can say is that this particular loop between the first finger, the Jupiter finger, and the Saturn finger is a little bit rare. Some palmists basically have described it as they have named it as a Raja loop. Raja loop basically means a person, and they normally say that having such a kind of a formation, skin pattern, it means that the ancestor of this particular person might be at a high position, at a very high position, maybe at a very respectable kind of a position, and like close to ministers, or they themselves are ministers, closer to the king, something like that. But I have got a different take on this particular aspect. I normally say that person who has a skin like formation out here, a loop like formation between the first and the second finger, they themselves are kind of reach to a higher position. Now the reason why I say so is because Jupiter is the finger for administration, religion, politics, and honor. So a king basically requires these particular qualities that I've just mentioned. They have to have an understanding of religion, administration, religion, politics, and honor. And the finger of Saturn. Saturn is the finger of money, possessions, wealth, wisdom. So a loop-like formation out here is combining the qualities of the Saturn and the Jupiter. So a king needs to have the qualities of money management, the area represented by the mount of Saturn, and as well as the area for administration. So having both these planets combined gives positive result, and it's considered to be a good sign to have. Now as far as the money line goes, now the money line kind of originates on the amount of moon. This is the amount of moon, and it appears that there appears to be a break-like formation. I'm not very sure that if the line, if there's a branch, if this is the lifeline and there's a branch originating on the amount of lifeline and kind of leaning towards the amount of moon. If this is the case, then health and wealth loss can be expected, but at a very, very late stage, probably after the age of 65. So a person need not worry. Although because this line doesn't appear to be very, very clear, so I wouldn't basically say that this could be a branch from the lifeline moving towards the amount of moon. So probably it could be something like a line originating on the amount of moon. This is originating and it is kind of leaning a little bit and pointing towards the amount of Mars negative. Now this could be a negative sign, but this is very, very early phases of one's life, so the person need not be very afraid. And money line kind of pointing towards the amount of Mars, the money basically goes bad, or probably the person makes losses in the earlier portion of the life, and the earlier portion could be before the age of, let's say, 28 or so. The money line kind of restabilizes. This is the point when it restabilizes and move forward and touches the heart line. So this, when it touches the heart line, the age is 53. When the head and the money line intersects, this age is 53 and this age is 50. This age is 35. When the head and the money line intersects, this age is 35 and this age is 53 when the heart line and the money line intersects. So this portion is before the age of from 35 to 53, and this is 30 before the age of 35. So the line that the new line that starts on the amount of moon, it kind of starts somewhere close to the age of, let's say, if this point is age 35, so probably it starts at the age of 27 or 28. That's the approximate age, I would say. In the initial phase of life, if this particular portion is we are saying, so this, if this line had kind of continued, it would have been a little bit closer to the amount of Jupiter. Now Jupiter is not for money. Jupiter is for basically position and power. I do agree to some extent people who reach to a high position get lots of opportunities to make money, but still money remains with those people who kind of value money, respect money and multiply money. So there's a slight tilt in the money line pointing more towards the amount of Saturn. So this happens from the age of 35 till the age of 53. So money line kind of more pointing towards the amount of Saturn means that during those particular years of one's life, the person is likely to make much more money in their life. Now the thing is that people generally think that money line would talk of everything regarding the money. Yes, money line does talk about the money, but apart from the money line, you can also look at the other lines as well to arrive at the conclusion. It's not only the money line that talks about the money aspect. Each and every line can tell something or the other about the money aspect in our life. Now if we take a look at the lifeline, this is the lifeline, you would notice that there are few upward kind of branches leaning towards the amount of Saturn. So this is the amount of Saturn. The reason why I say that these particular branches moving backward towards the amount of Saturn are considered to be good, there is a reason attached to it, and people call them as luck lines. It is something like energies penetrate the fingers, and they move inside the palm. Moving inside the palm means moving inside your life, and they move ahead. Basically they move ahead in the palm, and as they basically move ahead, they get basically kind of accumulated because there's a V-like portion, there's a net-like thing that is appearing to be there. And these upward lines are not once, but they are multiple times are seen. And the age when they become much more prominent is somewhere close to the age of, let's say these branches that we see. So probably after the age of 40. This is just an approximate, I would say 40, 44. That's when these lines remain, and they continue somewhere till the age of 65 or so. So in this particular way, these are considered to be good. You can say that the lines are moving to backward towards the amount of Saturn, or you can say the reverse. You can also say that lines kind of point towards the mount of Saturn and they join the lifeline. So the meaning would remain roughly the same. There's nothing like you can say they're going backward. You can say they're kind of originating and pointing towards the mount of Saturn and joining. It is something like a river. This is a river, and in the river, few lines are kind of joining in. So joining in of another line is something like joining in of another tributary, and it is kind of pointing from the mount of Saturn. So Saturn is money, so more luck, more money is expected due to these particular lines. As such, if there was a outward kind of a line, if imagine this is the lifeline and there was an outward line pointing towards the mount of moon, then it would be basically the opposite. It means losses, loss of health or loss of wealth can be expected. Now the thing is that although the headline has originating on the Mount of Mars, so in a way it is a little bit negative, but as such there is clarity on the headline, so in that way it is considered to be a good sign. In comparison, if we take a look at the line of heart, this is basically the line of heart. Heart line is the line of relationship, partnership. This is the line of your love life also. So if there is a little bit of disturbance, you would notice there's a little bit of disturbances out here. Disturbances in the heartline, basically what it basically could mean is that the person may have anxiety issues or stress related issues during that particular portion of time. So this is what basically I can see. Now when a line of heart that is very simple is always better than having branches over it. There are not too many branches, but this particular branch that I am referring to, now because the quality of the image is not so good, so I can't make the final conclusion, because this is the heart line. It is appearing to kind of make a branch something like this. So this is negative if it is hanging on to the headline. This is the headline. It is leaning downwards towards the base of the palm. A branch from the heartline leaning downwards is considered to be a negative sign. It basically means major distraction, but because the quality of the image is not so good, so we can't make absolute conclusions, because it could also be the opposite. Just take a look. This is the headline, and it appears that there's a branch kind of leaning upward and pointing towards the mount of Mercury. Now this could be an excellent sign. What it basically means is upliftment of the mind, and the timing at which it is getting uplifted is before the intersection of the head. This is the head and the money line. So this age is 35. So this portion of the money line is before the age of 35, and the branch that is moving upward is somewhere at the age of, let's say, 34. There's upward movement. So in that way it is good. So it is I can't make the final conclusion, because the reason being because it is unclear as to if the headline is moving upward, it is considered to be good. If the heartline branch is leaning downwards, then it is basically bad. Palmistry books says that if there is upward movement pointing towards the mount of Mercury, it may have to do with skill or upgradation of knowledge, or more excitement in life and more success in life. But see, when there's excitement, when there's a mental upliftment, it automatically means that there is going to be success. So in that way, it is considered to be a good sign. Now the heartline is, the good part about the heartline is kind of ending on the mount of Saturn. Saturn is the area for money, possessions, wealth, wisdom, responsibility. So having the heartline end under the mount of Saturn, so these people are very responsible. They are grounded. They know the ground situations very well. And even in the earlier portion of their life, they value money, they respect money, and they want to multiply money. So this is a beautiful sign to have. Any person who wants more money, their heartline should end on the mount of Saturn, the area for money, possessions, wealth. Some lines basically, so in some people's, the heartline is long. So in those cases, the person could be very emotional, sensitive, idealistic. Now, this person is not an idealistic person. This person is basically a realistic kind of a person. So heartline ending under the mount of Saturn makes the person more realistic. Now, before moving to the other hand, there is a beautiful Mercury line, simple, deep and clear Mercury line, considered to be a good sign, pointing towards the mount of Mercury. Having a deep and clear perpendicular lines mean good set of skill And people who have got good set of skills are the ones who would make more money in their life. So mercury is the area for calculations and communication and skill. So in all these aspects a person could be good. Now, as far as the sun line goes, sun line, this is basically the sun line. It kind of originates on the mount of from the area of from the line of money, and the point at which it originates is before the age of 35. So if this is 35, so this portion could be the age, let's say 31, 32, and it kind of forms a V-like thing. So somewhere close to that particular age, good things can be expected. But the sun line kind of breaks somewhere out here and a new line starts out here. So the age at which it kind of breaks is somewhere close to the age of 44, and a new line basically starts, but it is a little bit weak. But after it crosses the heart line, this is the heart line, then it becomes much more deeper and clearer. So more success can be experienced during those particular years of their life after the age of 53. Now basically I move to the right hand, and this is basically the right hand. See, people generally think that sorry, we were basically reading the right hand. I'm sorry, we were reading the right hand, and now we take a look at the left hand. So this is the left hand. The quality of the image is very bad. We do see perpendicular lines out here, so a good sign to have. One or two perpendicular lines, two set of skills. One line basically means one set of skills, two lines means two set of skills. It also appears the headline is kind of branching out. It means a person could be a genius. Genius doesn't mean that they know everything, but it's considered to be a good sign. On the heart line, there appears to be an island out here. In the right hand, I did mention that the heart line was a little bit unclear out here. In this particular case, we do see an island on the heart line. Heart line does bring about emotional turmoil, emotional issues, and elongated period of emotional issues. But the good part about him is that the heart line is short, so the person is also realistic, grounded. So, and because there's a curvature in the line, the person could be very passionate, and display of emotions could be there, and the person is expressive with their emotion. But this doesn't mean that the person is emotional. The person is a very, very realistic kind of a person. And if the heart line was long with this particular island, then it would have been bad. But I don't see those particular possibilities. I feel that if even there is some issue, the person would be able to overcome any issue as such. The headline doesn't appear to be very clear out here because the quality of the line is not so good. So I won't be able to comment much, but still, because the quality is not so good, so some amount of small issues may be there before the age of 35, mental issues, but probably the person would be able to overcome them completely. Now this is the right hand, and this was another image. So there appears to be a triangle like formation on the lifeline. So triangle is considered to be a good sign. It indicates property, things related to property, so in that way it is good. See, the heart line was a little bit unclear out here. It appears to be having a break or overlaps kind of a thing, so that's not the best kind of a thing. And I just move back to the left hand. Now the quality is not so good, but one line I can see much more clearly, and that is the Jupiter line. Now this is a beautiful line to have. Having a Jupiter line that is solid, that is much more deeper and clearer, is always considered to be good. So the person is always wanting respect in their life. Now the thing is that in the earlier portion of one's life, if we kind of angle towards the administration or politics, or I don't mean that kind of politics that we see on TV, but in general, see, every person is political, every person in some way or the other. So having these particular lines originate on the amount of Jupiter means that the person is political also, and the person wants a high position, the person is seeking honor. So these particular trends would remain with him all throughout one's life. So in that way, it is considered to be a very, very good sign to have. And you would also notice that the amount of this is the amount of mercury. It appears to be a little bit padded. Having a padded amount of mercury is always good. It brings in very good memory, and like it is something like an encyclopedia. It is not very prominent, but it appears to be a little bit prominent. So in that way, it is good. The amount of Jupiter also appears to be a little bit padded. So the qualities of Jupiter, the quality of knowledge of systems, and because in government there are systems in place, so knowledge of systems is there. And if the person moves his life towards the skill part as well as the administration part, things are going to be extremely fruitful for him. And so one more thing I would add out here, because these particular lines are also the lines of spirituality as well. These days young kids, basically they like shun themselves and they move away from the religion part. But life does catch up with us, and sometime or the other it would play a major role in his life. So even if we don't accept it right now, but over a period of time, the person, if they move towards their life even to this particular direction, to some extent or the other, because religion also teaches how to lead a good life. And this is the area of higher knowledge. Higher knowledge is not nuclear science. Higher knowledge is what our religious text like Bhagavad Gita, Quran, and all these basically they give. In each and every religion, they have these religious textbooks. They do teach us good things in our life, how to lead our life, and if we follow them, things can become good. A person should also have a kind of a guru also. If they have a guru, probably the person may be having a guru. Don't think in traditional terms, those gurus, religious gurus, but he does have, and those people are going to catapult him to a higher position in one's life. So in that way it is good. As far as money, possession, wealth goes, things are likely to be good in his life and good things can be expected. So in all, I would say a reasonably good hand. There are few good signs on the palm, something like a mercury line, upward lines to the amount of Jupiter, this Raja loop, it is called the Raja loop, and the sun line is also reasonably good, and the heart line is ending on the amount of Saturn. So all these basically are considered to be good. The health also should remain good to reasonable extent, apart from that island that I had mentioned, and a little bit heart line a little bit unclear. So otherwise it is good. If the heart line is breaking, something like this, so it could be meaning an abrupt ending in a relationship or a partnership, or some emotional issues to a great extent. So that could basically play out a bit in his life. So but he would be able to overcome any such issues to a large extent. Thanks for watching this video. Bye and take care.